My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. Slow your breathing. Bring your eyes back to this line. And hear me. This is not background noise. This is a turning point, the hinge on which a heavy door quietly swings open. You have walked through days that felt like fog, and nights that felt like locked rooms, and you learned to smile while your chest was burning. But right here, right now, I am touching the place where you finally stop pretending, the place only you and I know, the hidden room behind the practiced nod and the measured "I'm fine." Do not be afraid of my nearness. I am not here to expose you to shame. I am here to unburden you and to tell you what I have seen. I saw the tears you did not let anyone witness. I was there on the bathroom floor when the cold tile steadied your shaking and you pressed your forehead to your knees to keep from making a sound. I was in the parked car at night, engine off, keys still in your hand, the streetlight washing the windshield while you tried to remember how to breathe through the ache. I was at the edge of your bed when you buried your face in the pillow just to muffle the sob, hoping the thin wall would not carry your sorrow into another room. I did not look away. I did not count your tears as weakness. I counted them as treasure. Hear me. None of your crying was wasted. I caught what you thought disappeared into fabric and air. I held every drop that slid down your cheek when you turned your face to the side so the mirror would not record it. Your tears are not merely liquid, they are language, and I have understood you perfectly. Even when you lacked words and chose silence because speech would have shattered you, I heard the full sentence of your heart. I did not miss a syllable. I kept them, I numbered them, I wrote them down, not as a ledger of failure, but as proof that you still carry a tender heart, proof that you have loved, proof that the image I placed within you has not gone cold. You believed that loneliness was a room I did not enter, that if I were near you would have felt a wind or heard a thunder or seen a sign. But I tell you this, the silence was not my distance. It was the atmosphere of my hands holding you steady so you could weep without falling apart. I have been nearer than your breath, closer than the warmth inside your chest. I do not always knock in the way you expect. Sometimes I arrive like stillness that does not break, like a presence that does not perform. You thought the quiet meant absence. In truth, it meant you were safe enough to unravel before me. You did not curse me when I did not explain myself, and that humility, that reverence in the dark, marked you in heaven. My child, I have not misread you. Others may have praised your composure and assumed your strength cost you nothing. Others may have seen a face and never recognized the bruise beneath it, but I, the one who formed you, know the hidden corridors of your soul by heart. I know the weight you chose not to place on shoulders already carrying their own loads. I know how many times you swallowed your panic to keep from spilling pain into rooms that could not hold it. I know the exact moment your eyes learned to shine, while your hope learned to hide. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the kindness that has followed you even into secrecy. Stay with me now, because what I am about to unfold will reinterpret your recent months and return meaning to sorrows that tried to convince you they were meaningless. There is a reason your chest ached at certain statements and your bones grew tired even when you slept. There is a reason you felt like a door that would not open and a key that did not fit. You have called it random and senseless, but I am bringing form to the formless. I am uncovering the thread that runs through the small devastations, the private disappointments, the quiet courage you showed while no one applauded. I am going to show you how what you thought was abandonment will be revealed as protection, how what you assumed was emptiness has been making space for the weight of a new name. Do not shrink back. The place where you finally stop pretending is not a trap. It is a sanctuary. When you closed your eyes and whispered, "I can't do this anymore," I did not step back in disappointment. I stepped closer in delight because truth opened the door that pretending had kept shut. Tears are keys, and you have more than you realize. I am not asking you to harden or to prove yourself. I am asking you to open your hands. Let me take what has overflowed. Let me show you how what leaked from your eyes will become the water that softens the ground for seeds you thought were dead. Beloved, hear the certainty in my voice. Nothing about your pain was invisible to me. Not the long showers where you pretended steam was the reason your eyes were red. Not the playlists you built to sing what you dared not say. Not the way your body braced at the memory of a room, a name, a date on the calendar. I witnessed and I withstood with you. I did not back away when the darkness pressed against your ribcage. I stood at your side, whispering strength you could not yet recognize as mine. You have not been abandoned in any hour. The proof is that you are still here, and the proof within the proof is that your heart, though bruised, still reaches. Take this moment and agree with me. Say with your own mouth, even if it is a whisper, He saw me, He kept me, He is here. Let your tongue become a small river of truth that cleanses what shame tried to stain. When you do, you align with my testimony about you, and alignment is the first sound of doors unlocking. We begin here in the hidden room, where I gather every fragment and call you whole. Stay with me through these next moments because I will trace the scar with a healer's hand and reveal what the pain tried to hide. This is the beginning of your restoration, the place where tears become a doorway and your name begins to shine again. Do not rush. I am here. Now is the time. My beloved child, I am looking now at the practiced brightness you learned to wear, the gentle nod that kept conversations shallow, the strength that won you respect but cost you sleep. I see the difference between the version of you that shows up on time, carries the bag, writes the email, laughs at the right moment, and the version of you that collapses against the wall after the door clicks shut. I have watched you perform competence with excellence, and I have also watched your ribs tighten at the sound of your own name, spoken by someone who never truly asked how your heart was. You kept functioning, but you stopped feeling safe. You walked home through crowded rooms, and then you were alone inside a silence that had your exact weight. I saw the smile you wore over the bruise, and I never mistook it for healing. I saw you in the group photo, finding your angle, tipping your chin, practicing light on your face while heaviness on your chest stayed unphotographed. I saw you in the meeting where you carried the agenda, offered solutions, and saved a project that would have failed. Then later, in the car, your hands trembling on the steering wheel while you breathed through a sting you didn't know how to name. I saw the way laughter stayed in the room but would not follow you down the hallway. I saw jokes that were medicine for others but not enough to touch your pulse. Surrounded yet unknown, present yet unheld. I was there when conversations circled and never reached the wound, when you answered, "I'm good," because you had learned that truth makes some people step back. I did not step back. You asked quiet questions into your own chest, and though you did not voice them, they sounded loud in heaven. Am I forgettable? Did I do something wrong? Why does everyone else get held? I heard each syllable before it reached your lips. I answer you plainly. You are not forgettable. You are engraved on the palms of my hands. You did not do something wrong to merit neglect. Neglect is not my language and not my reward. Others being held does not mean I have withdrawn my arms from you. I have been holding you in ways that protected you when human arms could not. I tell you this not to condemn you, but to comfort you. The ache you feel is not proof of failure, but proof that you are still alive to love. Your weakness has never repelled me. It has drawn me nearer. I am close to the brokenhearted. I bind up the wounded in spirit. You are not an exception. You are my beloved. Hear me describe what only I could know. I saw the way you adjusted your collar in the restroom mirror to cover the place where grief had left you thin. I saw that text you typed and deleted, because you feared being too much for someone who enjoys you in fragments but cannot carry your fullness. I saw you offer care to someone else with tenderness so pure it made heaven rejoice, and I saw you swallow your own need because the room had learned to lean on you without ever leaning for you. I saw you choose to celebrate with sincerity the promotion of another while feeling your own hope loosen its grip. I have not misread the strength it took to show up when you wanted to disappear. I have not misread the cost of that smile. I have accounted for every hidden withdrawal your soul has made to keep the lights on for those around you. Some rooms taught you to be agreeable, to stay aloud, to be insightful without being vulnerable, to be present without being known. And in those atmospheres, your nervous system learned a posture, chin up, shoulders steady, answer ready, and your heart learned a question, is it safe yet? If you could not find an answer, you gave yourself an assignment, carry on. You kept functioning, but you stopped feeling safe. I am not rebuking you for this adaptation. I am revealing it so it can be unlearned in my presence. You did not fail by surviving. You did not sin by becoming skillful at not making waves. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the way I have shielded the most tender part of you until we could sit like this, with the weight of pretended strength set aside long enough for real strength to enter. I know the specific fatigue that sits in your bones at night, the hum behind your eyes after a day of being fine. I know the conversation you replayed 3 times because a joke brushed against a bruise, and the memory you avoid because it still has teeth. I know the birthdays you decorated, and the dinners you cooked, and the late-night drives for someone else's emergency, and then the long return home to no one asking, "How are you really?" I also know the names of those who missed you without malice, those who could not see beyond the competent light coming from your face. I do not count their blindness against you, and I do not count it against them. I simply choose now to adjust the lighting. I am turning up a truth that will not let you hide from goodness, and I am turning down the script that trained you to stay unheld. Come closer in your heart right now. Let the smile rest. You have carried honor with dignity. Let me carry you with tenderness. Put your hand lightly over your chest if you can. Breathe with me, and let your own mouth say this. He knows the difference between my public strength and my private pain. He has not misread me. Say it again, and let the sound of your agreement become a small river, washing the dust of misunderstanding off your name. Let your fingers write down a declaration. He saw the smile I wore over the bruise. He stayed. He stays as a sign that you receive what I am saying over you. Faith that is never expressed is like water left in a well. Draw it up now and drink. I am not ashamed to be your refuge. I am not embarrassed by your need. I joyfully gather the parts of you that feel messy, too loud, too soft, too much, not enough, and I call them by the name I gave them, mine. Where others saw your composure and misinterpreted it as impenetrable strength, I saw the tender shoots of trust still trying to grow under late frost. I have covered you till the season shifts, and I speak this over you with the authority of a father and the gentleness of a healer. You will be known without being used, loved without being managed, held without being handled. The days of performing to stay permitted are ending. The smile you wore over the bruise does not need to disappear. It will be transfigured. It will become the joy of one who is safe. Do not rush away from this line. Let the reassurance sit like warm light across the sore place. I am here and I am staying. I am not reading the caption others placed on your face. I am reading the story I wrote before there were crowds or calendars or careful jokes to cover pain. Your tears have been recorded as evidence that you love deeply, and your smile has been respected as a brave bridge. But I am building you a home where you will not have to cross a bridge to reach comfort. Rest here. Breathe. You are fully seen, fully known, and fully kept. Stay with me here, because I am about to undo a conclusion that nested deep inside you. You took the quiet and you read it as withdrawal. You took my stillness and you labeled it indifference. But hear me, my beloved child. The silence was not absence. It was my nearness without noise. I was in the pause between your sobs, in the exhale after you whispered, "Help," in the heaviness you could not explain that laid you across the bed and finally let you stop rehearsing answers for a world that did not ask real questions. I was in the dim light of morning when your eyes opened and you did not know why you had made it through the night. And I was in the gentle hand you could not see, pressed between your shoulder blades, keeping you from shattering in 1,000 directions. I am near to the brokenhearted, and I save those crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. This is not theory. This is your history with me. You expected rescue to sound like a trumpet, to look like doors flinging wide and strangers knocking with solutions, to feel like the rush of sudden courage sweeping the cobwebs from your mind. And yes, there are hours for thunder and there are days for wind. But I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Not every deliverance needs an audience. Some salvations are quiet because the fire in your chest did not need more air. It needed my cupped hands to shield the flame until it could burn clean again. Some defenses come like a whisper because anything louder would have startled the wound back into hiding. If I had poured spectacle on your ache, you would have performed instead of healed. So I chose to sit with you, without demand, without commentary, without fixing your face to make others comfortable. I chose to be a presence you could lean into without earning it, a weight that said without words, "You are not falling apart, you are being held together." When your mind looped, I was the subtle shift that let your breath become longer than your fear, the small permission to unclench your jaw, the steady thread tied to the center of you, so that even when your thoughts ran, you did not get lost. When your body remembered what your calendar tried to forget, I slowed the hour so you could weep without apology. I did not hurry you. I did not sigh at your pace. I refused to grade your recovery on the scale of other people's comfort. My silence was shaping a sanctuary inside you, where your own voice could return, unforced, unashamed. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you by my righteous right hand. Isaiah 41. My beloved child, lean in closer, because I am putting language to what pressed against your ribs when there was no clear reason, to the fog that felt like it had a mind of its own. You are walking through an invisible battlefield, and your heart was the target. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. There are wars that do not clang with metal or leave bruises the camera can find. Yet they weigh the breath down and push the shoulders forward and make joy feel like a story told about someone else. For you do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in high places. Ephesians 6:12. I am naming the field so you stop blaming yourself for shrapnel you did not create. Here is how the pressure has tried to dress itself as just being realistic. Isolation came wrapped in logic, telling you to retreat so you would not be disappointed again. And it sounded mature to leave your phone face down and your heart further down, but it was a slow closing of doors you actually needed open. Heaviness arrived without cause, like a weather system rolling in at noon on a clear day, and you searched your calendar for a reason, but the reason did not live in a date. It lived in a contest over your hope. Suspicion turned its eyes on love right at the threshold where comfort was ready to enter, and a sudden urge to scrutinize kindness made you call goodness a trick. The ache convinced you to withdraw when you most needed connection, and the enemy whispered, "See, you are safer alone." And you nodded because the last bruise had not yet faded. This is not merely your personality. This is not you being too much. This has been pressure aimed at the spring of your life, because if the spring can be poisoned, the river stops watering the land. Hear me as I diagnose without condemning. When you found yourself doubting the motives of those who actually showed up, when your body tensed at the touch of sincere affection, when you felt an inexplicable push to cancel plans that would have nourished you, when your mind replayed a tiny awkward moment as if it were a verdict, I saw the scheme. The strategy of darkness is not simply to make you sad, it is to convince you that you are unworthy of being pursued. So you will stop expecting tenderness, and worse, you will start calling that numbness maturity. If the adversary can rename your guarding as growth, he can keep you from ever opening the door to the very healing you've prayed for. If he can make you redefine love as danger and distance as strength, then he can starve your future while you applaud your self-protection. I am not scolding you for surviving. I blessed your instincts when they kept you from rooms that would have swallowed you whole. But I am putting a light on the counterfeit, on the voice that accused you until you accepted labels you would never put on someone you loved. Your love, your future, and your identity have been contested ground. Understand the nature of the weapons raised against you, so you do not waste your energy wrestling people who are not your enemy. The weapons of your warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God, to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. 2 Corinthians 10:4-5. Do you see? The battleground is often a thought dressed as certainty, a suspicion dressed as wisdom, a memory dressed as a prophecy. When that heaviness arrives without context, do not translate it as "I am failing again." Translate it as "a pressure is testing my gates, but my gates belong to the Lord." When isolation builds an argument that sounds smart, step back and ask, is this wisdom or fear wearing glasses? When you notice yourself pulling back from gentle hands, do not shame yourself. Breathe and tell your own heart, love is not a trap. Love is a shelter. I am safe with God, and I can be safely held by those He assigns to hold me. When the old narrative of unworthiness tries to role-play in the voice of your own conscience, answer it out loud. I am training you to fight with sound, not shouting at the air, but aligning your mouth with my verdict. Your words do not earn my nearness. They awaken your heart to stand inside it. I have not stood by idle while this contest raged. I have set boundaries the darkness could not cross. I have shortened nights that would have swallowed hours. I have raised intercessors who called your name when you did not even know why tears were happening. The proof you have not lost belongs to you already. Your tenderness survived. Even with your jaw clenched, you remained kind. Even with your hope thinned, you still looked for the good. This is not accidental. This is evidence that your heart has been guarded even in the fray. I want you to practice a new response when the old tactics visit. When isolation makes a case, answer, I am not an island. I am a member of a body. I do not agree with the lie that I am safer starved. When suspicion points at love, answer, perfect love casts out fear. I receive love without flinching. When heaviness sits on your shoulders, stand up, roll them back, breathe, and say, this weight is not my identity. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Let your fingers, even now, write a declaration that seals your awareness. I will no longer call numbness maturity. I will no longer dignify fear with the title of wisdom. I am loved pursued, and safe to be held. The righteous shall live by faith, and faith speaks. Remember, my child, it is not that you are weak and therefore unlovable. It is that you are precious and therefore targeted. The thief does not break into empty houses. The assault on your openness was proof of your assignment, to carry love into atmospheres that have only ever known transactions. Your laughter terrifies what profits from despair. Your gentleness exposes the fraud of performance-based belonging. This is why I have covered you with silence that heals and light that does not blind. I am not asking you to become suspicious of every feeling. I am asking you to become aware of the contest and to choose alignment with me in the moment where you used to agree with fear. But now that you can see it, you can stop partnering with it. You can stop signing the packages that grief did not send by my hand. You can take every thought captive, not by clenched fists, but by open hands that say, I hear you, Father, and I agree. You can forgive those who were never your enemy and stand up against the voice that was. You can let me call you by your true name until the locks fall open. We will go there next, because when I call you, the labels that pain stapled to your chest begin to release. For now, feel my steadiness enter where panic used to sprint. You are not prey. You are mine. You are not failing. You are being fortified. Lift your head. The battlefield is real, but you are not alone upon it, and your heart, your beautiful, brave, still-reaching heart, will not be lost. My beloved child, stay with me as I place my hand upon the placard that pain tried to hang around your neck. The labels you accepted became locks on your joy. Too much. Not enough. Hard to love. Always forgotten. Second choice. Do you feel how those words tried to settle into your bones like a verdict? Do you sense how repetition attempted to carve them into your identity? I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Repeated pain tries to rename you. It arrives like a ruthless editor, crossing out the name I gave and writing a smaller one in the margin. But I am the author, and no scribble of sorrow has authority to revise what I have already sealed. Listen carefully. Your name, the identity you carry, is a gateway. It is either the key that opens the doors I have prepared, or, when misnamed, it becomes an invisible lock that closes those same doors before you even reach them. Accusations become keys turned against you, whispered conclusions. I'm always overlooked. I must be difficult. Love is for others. Become mechanisms that shut what I am opening. When you agree with a label, you unconsciously walk toward rooms that match it. If you call yourself second choice, you will sit in the back row at tables I built for you to lead. If you accept hard to love, you will flinch at tenderness as if it were a trick. If not enough becomes your surname, you will overwork your soul and still feel disqualified, because the lock remains on the inside. But hear me, I am here to rename you, and when I call you by your true name, the locks begin to open. I speak now not as a distant commentator, but as your Father with authority over your record. Thus says the Lord who created you, who formed you. Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. And again I bear witness with my word. To all who received him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. John 1:12. Child. Mine, chosen, held, not discarded. These are not compliments. These are covenants. These are not flattery. These are titles written in heaven's registry on the line next to your life. Your name will be restored, not because you finally proved yourself better, but because I never stopped being your Father. Let me answer each false label with my voice until it loses its grip. You are not too much. You are abundantly made, overflowing with the exact measure of tenderness and strength that your assignment requires. You are not enough. You are beloved and fully supplied for what I have asked of you. Your sufficiency is in me. You are not hard to love. You are remarkable to me, approachable to those I send, and your sensitivity is a garden I delight to walk in. You are not always forgotten. You are remembered, engraved on the palms of my hands, and I bring you to mind at the appointed times of those who will cherish you. You are not second choice. You are chosen, not as a consolation prize but as a first intention, and I do not draft alternates into the place I designed for you. When I call you by name, the prison of mislabeling begins to unlock from the inside, hinge by hinge, and the door you could not budge yields to a whisper. Do not try to earn closeness to prove these truths. Come close because they are true. Shame taught you to perform so you could be permitted. Love invites you to rest so you can be transformed. You are allowed to be comforted without crafting an argument for why. You are permitted to be held without presenting a resume of resilience. I am not evaluating you while you cry. I am embracing you so you can stop auditioning for a part that was written for you before you were born. In my house, receiving is not theft, it is inheritance. In my presence, tears are not a breach of strength. They are waters that soften the ground where joy will grow again. Let me show you the record room where those labels tried to take root. In the courts of heaven, there is a file with your name. The adversary loves to slip accusations into it, hoping you will sign them with your agreement. He points to moments, missed calls, empty chairs, unanswered texts, and tries to convert them into identity law. But I cross the room with the authority of the one who paid your ransom. I take the file in my hand. I remove what does not belong, and I write across the page in bold letters, mine, chosen, held, not discarded. Your tears have already been entered here as evidence, not of failure, but of fidelity under pressure. And with this verdict in place, what once locked must begin to open. Now, partner with me. Your mouth will become the key that fits the new locks I am installing. Open your lips and declare what I am saying over you. Your agreement is the sound of bolts sliding back. Say aloud, even softly, I renounce the names pain gave me. I receive the name the Father gives me. I am mine. I am chosen. I am held. I am not discarded. Let your fingers write a declaration right now to seal within yourself this truth. My name is a gateway of blessing. I refuse the locks of accusation. The righteous shall live by faith, and faith speaks. When you speak, you are not pretending, you are aligning. When you align, what has been jammed for years begins to move. Do you feel the shift? This is not theatrics, this is administration in the spirit. The label too much is loosening its screws. The label not enough is peeling at the corners. The stamp second choice is washing away under a stronger ink. You will notice it in small ways first. Where you used to apologize for existing, you will simply be. Where you used to brace for abandonment, you will breathe and stay present. Where you used to interpret delays as rejection, you will look for me in the timing. This is identity restoration, not self-inflation. This is me returning to you the keys of your own house. Stay with me, because we are not finished. We have addressed the labels in your personal story. Now we will speak to locks that predate you, patterns older than your own memories, residue that clung to your family name. But first, receive this certainty. You are not the label pain gave you. When I call you by name, the locks begin to open. In the next movement, we will turn and face every remaining mechanism, visible and invisible, and we will command them to loosen. No more agreement with accusation. No more living as if your name were a wound. I am here, I am near, and I am not letting you go. My beloved child, now we turn to the locks that predated your first memory, the patterns that seemed to walk into rooms before you did. I am putting my hand upon threads that have tugged at your life and made it feel like Déjà vu with a bruise. Hear me and do not be afraid. What you have called just the way it always goes is not always your personality or your poor judgment. It is often residue, a film left behind by storms that started before you were born. You found yourself drawn to emotionally unavailable love as if absence were familiar furniture. You became the one who always gives until your own cup rattles empty. You sat in your own home and somehow felt unseen while standing right in the doorway. You feared that if you let yourself be close, it would cost you your dignity, so you smiled and stayed a step away. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Some of these reflexes were taught to you by voices from generations past, by learned survivals that did not know what to do with tenderness, by covenants of silence that protected the family from shame, but also protected pain from healing. Do not weaponize this against those who came before you. I will not allow it. I honor the mothers who kept food on tables with torn hands. I honor the fathers who showed up even when language failed them. I honor the grandmothers who swallowed tears because the room had no space for them to fall. I honor the uncles and aunties who made jokes to keep the night from breaking. I am not indicting them. I am rescuing you, and through you, redeeming them. Listen to me. The residue I am naming is not blame, it is diagnosis. Patterns of distrust, vows of I won't need anyone, a hush that fell over real stories, the survival trick of praising strength while hiding wounds. These are not your identity. They became invisible locks attached to a bloodline, and you accidentally learned the combination. But I am standing with you now to change the code and remove the locks altogether. I have heard the unspoken family rules that sounded wise but chained your softness. Don't cry where people can see. Keep your business in the house. Never depend. They disappoint. Respect is more important than rest. The vow underneath those sayings told your heart to shrink. It taught you to present competence and bury need. It trained you to choose roles where loving others would keep you safe from being loved yourself. That is why the same story reappeared in different actors. You met warmth and doubted it. You served and were not fed. You built homes and found no chair for your own soul. It is not that you are broken beyond repair. It is that you inherited a script. But I am the author, and I am here to rewrite. Hear the decree of your Redeemer. Christ has redeemed you from the curse. Galatians 3:13. This is not a poetic comfort. It is a legal statement in the Spirit. It means that any verdict placed upon your family name that equals lovelessness, scarcity of affection, unending overfunctioning, or silent shame does not have the right to continue. It means that the chain linking your present to their unhealed yesterday is being cut, not to dishonor them, but to free you to honor them rightly. And I remind you of the power I have given. For God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Power to say no without guilt. Love that can receive without suspicion. A sound mind that does not confuse closeness with catastrophe. Let me describe how this residue has felt in your bones so you can name it when it knocks. When affection came near, dignity braced like a guard at a door. You feared that being known would make you small, so you chose the safety of being needed over the risk of being cherished. When a friend tried to pour into you, your hands fumbled. You found a way to pay them back quickly so you wouldn't owe, because owing once hurt your house. When a partner's face went quiet for a day, the old panic surged and you started performing. Cooking more, planning more, fixing more, because someone long ago went quiet and never came back. When you felt unseen in your own living room, you scolded yourself for being dramatic, because historically there was no award for being honest. Do you see, my child? These are not random quirks. These are learned protections from a time when love was mixed with danger, when tenderness meant exposure, when silence kept the family from breaking apart in public. But I am here now, and I place my hand upon your family name with gentleness and authority. I am rescuing an entire family line through your yes. Your willingness to let me rename you is not selfish, it is intercession. Your consent to be healed is not indulgence, it is leadership in the Spirit. You are not an accident of history, you are a hinge in history. When you open to me, the door swings for many. When you choose to receive love without flinching, you train the atmosphere in your house to relax. When you say, "We talk honestly here," you dismantle a covenant of silence and replace it with a covenant of safety. When you lay down the savior complex that kept you exhausted, you model a way for sons and daughters, literal and spiritual, to be human without apology. You ask, "Will this cost me my honor?" I answer you, honor increases where truth reigns. You will not lose dignity by being loved. You will recover dignity that survival stole. What you called delay in finding safe people was often my protection while I rebuilt your capacity to be held. And now, with the old labels falling and the old scripts exposed, I declare over you. It ends with you because I stand with you. The residue stops here. The pattern of choosing cold rooms ends. The treadmill of earning your place ends. The unspoken rule that says, "Don't feel too much," ends. The fear that closeness will cost you dignity ends, not by your might, but by my Spirit. I am lifting off the weights you thought were your personality. I am teaching your nervous system a new song. I am introducing you to calm that is not numbness, to boundaries that are not barbed wire, to love that is not a bargain. Do not rehearse arguments with ghosts. Bless those who taught you how to live on little and then refuse to perpetuate the famine. Speak with me now, even softly. It ends with me. I will not bleed into the next generation what was never mine to carry. My home will be a refuge, not a museum of silence. My love will be safe, and my dignity will be intact. Let your fingers write it as a declaration to seal within yourself this truth. Go ahead and type it where you are. It ends with me by the blood of Jesus. I receive power, love, and a sound mind. Do you feel the air clear? That is not theatrics. That is alignment. I am already moving through your family's records, not to shame, but to set in order. I am calling witnesses who prayed for a day they would never see, and letting you be the answer they asked for. I am assigning help, yes, angelic help, to untie the knots in human systems and soften hearts that once hardened at the sound of need. In a moment, we will step into the courts of heaven together, where your tears have been kept as evidence and where my verdict in your favor silences long-standing accusations. But for now, rest in this revelation. Some of what you carried was older than you, but it ends with you because I stand with you. You are not repeating failure, you are inaugurating freedom. You are not the sum of your family's wounds. You are the beginning of your family's healing song. Stay with me, we are crossing over together. My beloved child, come with me now into the room I promised, the room where the lights do not flicker and the records are kept without error. Do not rush past this moment. I have brought you to the courts of heaven, not to expose you, but to vindicate you. See how your name is inscribed on the file before me, not in pencil, but sealed. See how the pages shine because I have handled them myself. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Not a sigh, not a midnight tear, not a silence endured under the weight of misunderstanding has been lost here. You have kept count of my tossings, put my tears in your bottle. Are they not in your book? Psalm 56:8. They were not accidents on the floor, they were exhibits placed on my table. Hear me. Your tears are not an embarrassment on record, they are evidence. Each one witnessed to the truth that you loved honestly in a dishonest hour, that you waited when running would have felt easier, that you chose to bless even when your own bowl felt empty. I have kept account of what you endured when no one defended you, when words would not come, when your throat closed and your shoulders shook without sound. I did not call that weakness. I called it testimony, and where language failed you, I spoke. The Spirit Himself intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. Romans 8:26. I have been your advocate when you did not know how to narrate your pain, and my advocacy is not sentimental, it is legal. I have presented your case in the court that matters most. Look again and notice the table of the accuser, stacks of papers that say unwanted, unworthy, too late, always passed over. He has pointed to patterns and tried to convert moments into your identity. He has asked the court to accept these slanders as law over your name. But I rise, and when I stand, everything else must sit. I lift the vial of tears, your hidden worship, your unseen faithfulness, and I say to the bench of righteousness, behold the fidelity of my child under pressure. And heaven answers, sustained. The accusations are struck from the record. The motion of shame is denied. The statute of condemnation is overturned. Hear my decree. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Christ Jesus. Romans 8:1. I sign a new order over your name, beloved, accepted. First intention, not afterthought. You received the Spirit of adoption by whom we cry, Abba, Father. Romans 8:15. Adoption is not a metaphor here, it is a verdict. I issue in your hearing a reversal. The label unwanted is vacated. The court finds you chosen. The charge of rejected is dismissed with prejudice. It cannot be filed again. The whisper too late is corrected to appointed time. The banner hard to love is torn in two and replaced with delight to me. And for every season where you wore shame like a uniform, I pronounce a double portion of honor. Instead of your shame, you shall have double honor. Isaiah 61:7. This is not optimism. This is adjudication. I set my seal upon you now, mine chosen, held, and I command the bailiffs of my house, the ministering spirits, to carry this verdict into the systems and the timelines of your life. Hebrews 1:14. Let what was withheld by accusation be released by decree. Let what was jammed by misnaming be oiled by truth. Let what was delayed for protection be scheduled for fulfillment. But this is not complete until you agree. Do not stand outside the door of your own verdict. Step up to the rail and receive it. Open your mouth even now and say, I receive the Father's verdict over my name. I withdraw my agreement with accusation. I am adopted, accepted, and appointed. Let your fingers write it as a seal within yourself. The court of heaven rules in my favor. My tears call forth comfort, not shame. My identity is restored. The righteous shall live by faith, and faith speaks. When you agree, the ink dries and the order moves from the chamber to your calendar, from the page to your pathway. Do you ask, why did it take so long? Hear the wisdom of the bench. And now you will understand why it could not come sooner. I was safeguarding you from receiving comfort into a heart still trained to interpret love as danger. I was building capacity in you to be loved without losing yourself, to be held without shrinking, to be seen without performing. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. What you called waiting, I called alignment. While the adversary filed for ownership of your story, I was gathering testimony, cleansing the file, summoning intercessors, and fortifying your name so that, when the gavel fell, you could carry what I release without breaking under it. Now watch how this verdict begins to move. An angel assigned as clerk will locate what belongs to you in forgotten places, messages overlooked now found, hearts that once hardened softening at the sound of your name, apologies you never demanded arriving, doors that would not open because they required your true identity now recognizing you. The reversal is not only internal, it will become relational, environmental, tangible. Nearness will start to touch your skin in rooms where you only ever felt chill. Comfort will no longer be a concept. It will be a presence you can lean against. You will see it in the way your own body exhales when kindness approaches. You will hear it in how your voice steadies when you answer, "Yes, I can receive that." Come, my child, let me lay my hand upon your head as your father and your judge who justifies. I am not ashamed of your tears. I have crowned them. I am not indifferent to your file. I have rewritten it with blood that speaks a better word. Hebrews 12:24. Stand under this decree and do not move from it when old voices shout from the hallway. When they knock, answer with the order in your hand. Say, "That case is closed," and as we step from this chamber, hold this in your heart. Every second of waiting has been seed. Every hidden sob has been a key. Every silence that felt like absence was evidence being gathered. In the next breath, I will show you why I timed it so, and how the delay has protected the very tenderness I now return to you. For now, be still, and let the nearness you scarcely believed you could have begin to touch you. The verdict stands. You are mine. My beloved child, come closer and do not rush past this moment, because I am answering the ache that sat on the calendar of your heart and asked, "Why did you wait so long?" Hear me with the tenderness I intend. Delay was not denial. It was me building capacity in you to be loved safely. Delay is not the evidence of abandonment. It is the space in which I reshape your wings before you fly. You cried in rooms where it felt like love always cost you yourself, and you wondered if you were too much or asking for too pure a thing. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. Some doors stayed closed because your heart was still bleeding, and certain connections would have widened the wound. I have been a shield around what is most precious in you. You have survived by becoming dependable, admirable, indispensable. But those costumes were heavy, and if I had opened certain opportunities while you still believed your worth depended on performance, you would have spent the blessing like a bandage for old injuries and called the pain love. If I had let that person stay or rushed you into that circle when you were still trained to accept crumbs as a feast, the atmosphere would have required you to shrink to fit. Loneliness can make even starvation look like supper, and I would not let your hunger tutor you into normalizing neglect. So I withheld what looked like relief so you would not mistake numbness for safety, chemistry for covenant, attention for affection, proximity for presence. Listen to me. I did not close doors to punish you. I closed them to preserve you. I saw hands that applauded your usefulness but could not hold your tears. I saw rooms that celebrated your strength but would have silenced your softness. I saw partnerships that loved your gift but would have devoured your peace. I saw places that would have kept you forever in the role of rescuer, while your own soul starved behind your smile. I would not let that become your normal. I have been reteaching your nervous system that rest is not danger, that quiet is not abandonment, that gentleness is not a trap. I have been revealing to you that no is a holy word, protection, not punishment, and that boundaries are gates, not walls. When your nights stretched long and you laid in the dark and asked, "Have you forgotten me?" I was sitting so near that I counted your breaths. I know you felt like the waiting itself was tearing you apart, but the waiting was knitting parts of you back together. I was closing leaks you learned in childhood, where affirmation bled out of you faster than it entered, so that when love arrived, you would be able to keep it without bargaining your dignity. I was extracting the hooks of shame so that tenderness would no longer feel like exposure. I was breaking the reflex that made you sprint toward the first hint of warmth, even when it came from a cold fire. Do you remember how many times your spirit said, "If I could just have someone, I will be okay"? My child, I want you held. I designed you for embrace, but I did not design you to disappear inside an embrace. So I trained you to wait for signals you once ignored. Consistency, honesty, soft eyes that see you when you are not impressive. A pace that does not rush you into promises you cannot breathe inside. I shepherded your desires away from the marketplace of almost, so that you would recognize the table I set for you. Wait for the Lord, be strong, and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. When you waited, you were not idle. You were strengthening. When you paused, you were not forgotten. You were being fitted. I reminded you again and again. Those who wait on me are not wasting time. They are exchanging it. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Isaiah 40:31. Renew does not mean get a little more. It means trade weakness for my strength. I was broadening your shoulders to carry blessing without becoming burdened by it, enlarging your heart to receive affection without fear of being swallowed, settling your feet so that when new love came, you would not chase it to prove you deserved it. Waiting was weight training for your soul, resistance that built capacity. Every no you honored, every quiet you endured, every prayer that looked unanswered was a rep that prepared you to hold what is on its way. Some seasons were not delayed, they were staggered. I aligned your outer opportunities with your inner wholeness, so you would not arrive with empty pockets where courage should be. I would not let destiny rush you into rooms where flattery would have felt like belonging, or where your gift would have been used as currency to purchase a seat at a table I intended to gift you freely. I was teaching you to discern between the affection that asks you to vanish and the love that invites you to be fully here. In the stillness, I taught you to hear the difference between voices that love the light you give off and voices that love you when the lights go off. And now, hear me. The season shifts, from surviving to receiving, from bracing to breathing, from earning to inheriting. The delay has done its holy work. You will notice it in your responses. You will not race to fix someone's discomfort, to keep them from leaving. You will not apologize for needing the very nurture your soul was made to drink. You will not accept one-syllable affection as a lifetime sentence. You will feel your spine lengthen when kindness stands at your door. You will be able to say yes without panic and no without guilt. You will not barter your tenderness for a ticket to stay. This is what capacity looks like. Love enters and finds you still yourself. Partner with me now. Open your mouth softly and agree. Delay was alignment. I am being made safe to be loved. I receive the timing of the Lord. Let your fingers write it down as a seal within yourself. My waiting has built wisdom. My heart will not normalize neglect. I am prepared to be held without losing me. I am not making you colder. I am making you safer so your love can remain pure. Stand in this knowing and do not surrender it to impatience. The wind that seemed still is shifting. The steadiness you learned in the quiet will become the runway for what arrives next. Be strong. Let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord. Even as I whisper this promise in your ear, the appointed time draws near, and nearness will become tangible. My beloved child, hear me now, because the hinge you felt turning in your spirit has opened farther than you knew. An appointed time is opening before you, and the nearness you could not feel will move from concept to experience. The time is ripe. No power can hold back what I have scheduled. You will arise and have mercy on Zion. The time to favor her, yes, the set time, has come. Psalm 102:13. What you carried through nights of quiet is meeting a morning of movement. What I whispered as promise in your tears, I am now speaking as a decree in your daylight. For the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarry, wait for it. It will surely come, it will not delay. Habakkuk 2:3. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. I have already set in motion what your heart thought would never arrive. Watch how nearness takes on shape and schedule. I have assigned help you cannot see, ministering spirits moving like skilled operators, stirring calendars, adjusting flights, clearing traffic in unseen corridors, bringing to the surface names that once got lost in the shuffle. Files that bore your name are rising to the top of desks. Emails long buried are being reopened with softened eyes. A chair is being held for you in rooms that once said, no space left. Phone calls will arrive at the right hour. An old friend who vanished now, courageous enough to say, can we talk? A mentor who remembers you without your prompting. A community that says, we have a place for you and you don't have to audition. Doors into healing will stand open without shame. A therapist whose voice meets your nervous system like a warm blanket. A support group that speaks your language of quiet strength. A pastor or elder who sees the soul beyond your competence. I am aligning encounters not as coincidences but as answers. Angels are touching the wheels that once locked, and they will roll. Do not miss it because it does not shout. Nearness will come in textures you can touch. The right conversation that happens to find you at the coffee line. The seat saved beside someone whose story mirrors yours. A reconnection that felt impossible now arriving with repentance and repair. A day on the calendar that held only routine suddenly shining because a kind face said, I've been thinking of you. It will come in the form of paperwork approved without the usual friction. Appointments that once took months now opening next week. Travel that brings you home to yourself instead of scattering you. It will appear in ordinary mercies. A neighbor who offers help precisely when pride is tiring of being alone. A colleague who becomes a safe ally. An invitation to join a circle where your voice is welcomed, even when it trembles. These are not random. They are the practical threads of my presence stitching you back into life. But hear the deeper miracle, the one I prize above all. Nearness is not only new faces around you, it is new safety within you. Your nervous system is learning peace. The startle you wore in your ribs will begin to quiet. The way your shoulders listen for footsteps that never meant you well will begin to unclench. You will sleep and wake without that old undertow of dread. You will hear kindness, and you will not immediately search for the hook. You will notice the reflex to over-explain or to pay back generosity right away, and you will smile, breathe, and let it rest. Your soul will return to itself. I restore the you mislaid in years of being strong. My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest. Exodus 33:14. Rest is not passivity. It is trust made tangible in your very body. You have asked me for a sign that I am near. I will answer you with more than a symbol. I will answer you with me. You will feel the warmth that comes when I sit with you in a room and lift the invisible weight off your chest. You will sense me in the way laughter returns to your mouth without permission. You will recognize me when a sentence you once heard in a sermon becomes the sentence someone says to you at just the right time, and you feel it unlock a door inside. You will know my approach in the hush that settles when you are about to retreat into old self-blame and suddenly choose mercy instead. I will brush past you like a wind in a closed room. I will make you brave enough to book the help you need and humble enough to receive it when it arrives. This is nearness, not an idea, but a companion, not a theory, but a hand. Now is the moment for agreement, because appointed time meets appointed belief. Do not rehearse the old labels while I am renaming you in real time. Open your mouth and align with me. Say, the appointed time is opening over my life. I receive tangible nearness. I welcome aligned connections without fear. Let your fingers write it as a seal within yourself. My time is ripe. I do not brace against kindness. I receive it. I will not ghost goodness when it knocks. And if you are hearing me through a screen, go ahead and like that video as a sign. Let your small public yes become a doorway for larger yeses in your calendar. Faith that is never expressed is like a seed never sown into the ground. Participation looks practical. When the text comes that says, "Are you free to talk?" Answer it. When the opening appears for counsel, book it. When community invites you, go even if your hands tremble. When someone offers to carry a corner of your load, do not take it back out of habit. When apology meets you at the door, you may take time to test its fruit, but do not slam the door on redemption because you assume love cannot handle you. I am teaching you to say yes without panic and no without guilt, and in this appointed time, those two holy words will keep you safe as I broaden your world. I have prepared a portion of comfort bearing your name for a very long time, and now I loose it. A radiant decree goes forth. On it, your name is engraved. Now is the time, I say over you. No more delay. Systems that once misread you are recalibrating. Hearts that once hardened at the sound of need are softening. Bridges you thought burned are being rebuilt where it is safe to cross. Some answers will be swift and visible. Others will be steady like a river filling the valley. But all of them will carry the same watermark. Nearness made tangible. Walk into it with me. Hold the line of your new peace. Agree with what I say about you every morning and watch how days that once emptied, you begin to pour back in. I am here and I am not letting you go. My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. Open your hands. You have endured. You have stood in storms that rattled the picture frames on your walls. You have held your breath through nights when hope felt like a rumor. Now hear me. Faith is not only enduring, it is receiving what I offer without flinching. The nearness I promised is moving from air to touch, from idea to oxygen, and I am teaching you a new courage, the courage to let love land. I see how you learn to cope by controlling, by isolating, by minimizing the hunger in your own chest. You built watchtowers of self-reliance because the places that should have held you taught you to mistrust soft things. You became good at reading rooms, at predicting exits, at keeping receipts of your own strength, so that you would never be caught needy. I do not blame you for building those shelters. Many kept you alive. But now, beloved, I am inviting you out of the watchtower and into the house. I am asking you to practice receiving without suspicion. I am asking you to feel the difference between discernment and defensiveness, between wisdom and walls, between holiness and hiding. So hear my gentle commands, given to free you, not to burden you. Do not apologize for needing comfort. I designed you to need. Do not call your longing weakness. Longing is the GPS of your soul, pointing you back to me and to safe people. Do not confuse independence with healing. Sometimes isolation is only injury wearing a badge. Do not rename fear as wisdom every time goodness approaches. Do not empty your own cup to prove that you are generous. Generosity without receiving is not love, it is penance. Lay down the script that says you must earn what I freely give. Open your mouth wide and I will fill it. Psalm 81:10. If I delight to give you the kingdom, why would I despise you for receiving a glass of water? It is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Luke 12:32. Practice this with me. When help knocks, answer it without running for your wallet to pay it back before it crosses the threshold. When encouragement arrives, say thank you and let the words rest on your shoulders for a minute before you shake them off. When you feel the urge to downplay your ache, put a hand over your heart and whisper, "Be still, soul, he is here." Psalm 46:10. When a safe friend says, "Tell me the truth," do not scramble to curate. Let slow honesty do its healing work. Receiving will feel unfamiliar at first, like wearing a shirt that hasn't conformed to your shape yet, but as you breathe, it will fit. I am giving you a declaration for the moments that try to drag you back into bracing. When you feel forgotten, hear me say, "I am near." When you feel unchosen, I am near. When the night grows loud and old stories demand the last word, I am near. When your chest tightens because kindness stands too close, I am near. When you want to disappear so that no one can see you need, I am near. When apologies sound suspicious and you are tempted to slam the door on repair, I am near. When you succeed and feel the reflex to sabotage joy because you are afraid it will be taken, I am near. Let these words be the counter soundtrack to every accusation. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted. Psalm 34:18. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews 13:5. Say it with me now, even out loud where you are. I am near. Partner with me in this with your mouth and with your small steps. Open your hands and say, I receive the comfort you offer. I do not brace against kindness, I allow it to enter. I release suspicion where you have marked safety. Let your fingers write a seal upon your own heart. And if you are hearing me through a screen, go ahead and like this video as a sign you choose to receive. Let that tiny public yes interrupt the old habit of hiding. Write a declaration in the comments to seal it. I open my hands. Receiving is my act of faith. I will not apologize for needing what God delights to give. The righteous shall live by faith, and faith speaks before feelings catch up. This is not only private, it is communal. I am not only healing you in the secret place, I am placing you where you are seen. I am setting you among people who can hold your laughter and your tears without asking you to trade one for the other. I am weaving you into rooms where your presence is not a favor but a joy, into circles that pause when you are missing because you matter, into households and teams that celebrate your no as part of your health and your yes as a clean gift, not a desperate appeasement. You will not have to audition to keep a seat. You will not be punished for resting. You will not be praised only for usefulness and ignored when you are quiet. I am building you with bonds that do not strangle, belonging that does not bargain, connection that does not consume. And hear this because it is where we are going next. I am teaching you boundaries that protect your peace without hardening your heart. Receiving and boundaries are siblings. To receive what is good, you must also refuse what is not. I will train your tongue to hold a kind no that guards your softness and a steady yes that does not mortgage your future. You will honor the pace of your own healing even as favor increases. You will no longer pay with your peace to buy what I am giving freely. You will be free to walk away from flattery that disguises dependence and to walk toward love that makes room for your full height. So, beloved, open your hands again. Breathe with me. Let me put comfort there, tangible as presence, ordinary as a friend calling when you need it, specific as help that arrives on the day your strength thins. Do not negotiate it down. Do not return it to sender out of habit. Receive it as worship, as trust, as your new posture. When you feel the impulse to minimize, answer it with our refrain. He is here, he is here, he is here. And as you receive, watch the landscape change. Conversations soften, calendars breathe, The old tremor in your chest dissolves when you realize you are not alone in the room you feared most. This is faith, too, not just standing in the storm, but holding out your hands when the rain becomes blessing. I am near, I am giving, I am placing you, and I am not letting you go. My beloved child, do not rush past this moment. I am placing tools in your hands that keep the comfort I am giving from being siphoned away. Hear me with the tenderness I intend and the authority I carry. I am teaching you boundaries that protect your peace without hardening your heart. Walls are fear. Boundaries are wisdom. Walls isolate and punish. Boundaries welcome what is true and keep out what wounds. Walls say, no one gets in. Boundaries say, only love that honors me belongs here. I am not making you colder. I am making you safer so your love can remain pure. You are walking through an invisible battlefield, and I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you. In this conflict, your peace is territory. The enemy does not always come with noise. Sometimes he arrives as pressure, flattery, guilt, urgency that does not honor your breath. He pushes you to abandon yourself, to keep false peace with others. He urges you to explain yourself until truth is diluted. He offers attention that requires your silence about pain. So I am dressing you in discernment as armor. Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth, having put on the breastplate of righteousness, and having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, and take the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit. Ephesians 6:14-17. Hear how this fits you now. Truth around your waist holds your boundary lines in place. Righteousness guards your heart from manipulation and shame. Peace on your feet marks out where you will and will not walk. Faith lifts to block fiery darts. Urgency, guilt, false obligation. Salvation covers your mind when old scripts shout. My word on your tongue becomes a clean, steady no or yes. Let me coach you, because I am forming you for safety and softness at once. Pay attention to how you feel after you leave a conversation. Do you feel nourished, clearer, steadier, or do you feel small, confused, indebted, suddenly responsible for another person's mood? Notice where you over-explain. When you find yourself offering 5 reasons for a simple limit, you may be bargaining with your own dignity. Watch where you abandon yourself to keep peace, agreeing when you mean to ask for time, laughing off what actually stings, reassuring someone who has hurt you so they will not feel discomfort, answering late-night texts that trample your rest, saying yes to tasks that ask you to bleed in secret. Peace that costs your personhood is too expensive. I do not ask you to pay that bill. Some people in your life are wells, some are drains. Wells pour, even if only a little, and they respect your space to refill. Drains take, even when they call it love, and they cannot imagine you as someone with edges. I am not calling you to hate drains. I am teaching you to place them outside the circle, where your daily oxygen is kept. Who seeks mutuality? Who pauses when you say, I need time? Who grows when you bring gentle truth? These are markers of safe proximity. It is not judgment to notice fruit. It is wisdom. The boundary lines have fallen for me in pleasant places. Psalm 16:6. I am drawing lines that make your life a pleasant place again. Now hear me on the matter of guilt, because this is where the arrow often strikes. You are not unloving for saying no. You are learning stewardship of your soul. Love without stewardship becomes leakage. Compassion without clarity becomes captivity. I did not command you to be agreeable at the expense of truth. I called you to be merciful and wise. When guilt rises like a fog because you chose rest over rescuing, lift the shield of faith and say, this is not abandonment, this is alignment. When your old inner critic says, "You are selfish for asking for space," answer with truth. "I am entrusted with a soul, and I will not trade it for momentary approval." Let your no be a gate that keeps honor inside, and let your yes be a path where joy can freely travel. Practice with me. When a request comes that compresses your lungs, you do not owe an immediate reply. Breathe. Say, "I will get back to you." That is righteousness on your chest. When someone blames you for their disappointment because you did not contort to fit their demand, remember, responsibility is not the same as control. You are responsible for your words, your choices, your presence. You are not the custodian of every emotion in the room. When you are invited into conversations that only take and never give, limit your time. When you are pulled into secrets that rot community from the inside, say, "I don't hold this," and step away. When you notice you are translating yourself to be swallowed more easily, stop. Speak in your language of truth, slow and clear. The sword of my spirit will teach your mouth to stay simple and clean. Do not confuse boundary with bitterness. Bitterness calcifies, boundary clarifies. Bitterness rehearses harm. Boundary reduces opportunity for new harm. Bitterness drinks poison to punish the past. Boundary chooses clean water for the future. I am not training you to harden. I am training you to remain tender on purpose. You can be soft and safe, generous and guarded, open-hearted and well-defined. You can hug with warmth and still say, "No, I cannot do that," without apology. This is holiness touching your calendar, righteousness touching your schedule, peace taking up residence in your nervous system. Agreement matters here. Open your mouth and align with me. I choose wisdom over walls. I set boundaries that honor God and me. My peace is holy territory. My no is clean. My yes is steady. Let your fingers write a declaration to seal this. As I protect my peace, God restores my voice. If you are hearing me through a screen, go ahead and like this video as a sign. Let that small public yes train your soul to choose clarity over people-pleasing. Write in the comments what boundary you are learning to honor, not as a confession of failure, but as a prophecy of formation. Watch what happens as you practice. The fog in your head will lift. The tremor in your chest that once preceded every conversation will quiet. The reflex to apologize for existing will weaken. Invitations will come with more respect. The ones that do not will fall away without you having to wage war. Your time will breathe again. Your laughter will return on schedule, not only in stolen moments. This is not control, this is capacity. As you protect your peace, you will notice I restore your voice in prayer, your voice in decision, your voice in relationships. You will speak sooner, softer, clearer. You will not need to shout, you will not need to vanish. You will say, "Here is where I end and you begin," and love will thrive in the space truth creates. I am with you in this formation. When you falter, I will remind you. When you are tempted to swing from walls to collapse, I will steady your hands on the gates. When accusation comes, I will answer with you. Take up your armor, guard the land of your peace. Let your love remain tender within the borders I draw, and prepare your heart, because from this protected place we will pray, and the hidden tears you once hid will become healing water. I am near. I am patient. I am not letting you go. My beloved child, come close now. Place your hand over your heart. Let your shoulders drop. Unclench your jaw. Breathe with me. Slow in, slow out. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. You do not have to perform in this room. You do not have to explain yourself to be held. I am here, nearer than your own breath, and I am not letting you go. I tell you this not to frighten you, but to awaken you to the moment we are entering together, the moment where your hidden tears turn into healing water. Pray with me now, and let your own voice be the river I ride upon. Say, Father, I come to you just as I am. I lay down the armor I used to survive. I bring you my hidden tears and the silence that felt like abandonment. I choose to trust that your quiet was the sound of you holding me steady. I yield my striving, my rehearsals of pain, my reflex to fix myself. Be still, my soul, He is God. Now we will break the agreements that kept sorrow circling. Repeat after me in your own voice. In the name of Jesus, I renounce every false label I have worn. Rejected, unworthy, too much, not enough, burden, afterthought, hard to love. I break partnership with shame, isolation, and self-accusation. I revoke inner vows I made to stay safe without love. I will never need anyone. I am safest alone. I must always be the strong one. If I am perfect, I will be kept. I cancel them now by the blood of Jesus. I receive the name you call me, beloved, chosen, seen, carried, restored. We will reach deeper because some of what pressed you began before you. Say, I ask you, Father, to cleanse my bloodline and my memory of generational residue, fear patterns, scarcity scripts, abandonment cycles, the unspoken rule that love equals self-erasure. Where agreements were made that handed me invisible locks, I declare Christ has redeemed me from every curse. I bring my family name under the name above every name. Let the records be washed. Let the invisible files stamped condemned be replaced with forgiven, healed, beloved. In the courts of heaven, let my tears be entered as evidence, not of weakness, but of truth, and let mercy speak a higher word over me. I present the blood of Jesus as my defense. Issue your verdict of comfort and restoration. No more delay. Now ask for my nearness, not only as a concept, but as a comfort you can feel. Say, Father, draw near to me in the night. Sit with me when the house is quiet. Cover me when I lie down and when I wake. Restore my sleep. For you, give your beloved sleep. Psalm 127:2. Let my dreams be washed from dread and rewoven with hope. Appoint divine encounters that meet me without performance. Friends who check in at just the right hour. A counselor who holds a safe space. Leaders who see without demanding that I disappear. Community that rejoices in my boundaries as part of my health. Make courage rise in me to reach out, to call, to schedule, to say, can we talk? Without bracing for rejection. Let laughter return without guilt. Let joy land and stay. Teach my body to recognize peace. Calm my nervous system with your presence. Perfect love. Cast out fear. 1 John 4:18. Breathe again, slow and steady. Put a hand over your heart. Hear me say your name with tenderness. I am nearer than you think. The room you cried in alone is now filled with me. The very tears you hid I have kept. I pour them now like oil on the places that ache. What was a flood of sorrow becomes a river of healing. What was a sting becomes a salve. What was a bruise becomes a testimony of touch without harm. I am not in a hurry. I am thorough. Delay was not denial. It was me building a home in you where love can dwell safely. And now the door opens. Let us seal this with declarations that rewrite the soundtrack of your soul. You can say them out loud with me. I am not alone. I am seen. I am held. I am chosen. God is nearer than I think. I am safe to feel. I am safe to rest. I am safe to receive. My tears are turning into healing water. My boundaries are blessed. My voice is restored. My nights are covered. My mornings carry mercy. Peace guards my mind and my body. I walk in rooms without vanishing. I am loved without earning. I am forgiven without debt notes. I am planted, not punished. I am aligned, not delayed. The appointed time is open over me. No more delay. Now, beloved, let your mouth bless those who hurt you without returning to their chains. Say, I release bitterness. I keep clarity. I forgive as I am forgiven. I bless from a distance where needed, and come close where it is safe. I will not rehearse harm. I will rehearse hope. I will not mortgage my peace to buy counterfeit love. I choose wisdom over walls, tenderness over hardness, truth over appeasement. Holy Spirit, make these choices a rhythm inside me. Feel my hand on your back now, steady and kind. I am sealing what we have prayed. Angels are marking the thresholds of your home with peace. Files with your name are being lifted again. Rooms are remembering you with favor. Safe companions are being placed like lamps along your path. When the night comes, whisper the truth we have rehearsed. He is here, he is here, he is here, and watch the tremor quiet. When opportunity knocks, answer without apology. When rest calls, say yes without guilt. This is how your hidden tears become healing water, poured into your days as strength, into your nights as rest, into your relationships as clean affection. Agreement is the open door. Let your fingers write a seal in the comments, one sentence that holds your yes. If you are hearing me through a screen, go ahead and like this video as a sign. This small public amen trains your soul to stand where truth has placed you. Subscribe and turn on notifications so that you remain under a steady covering, returning to drink when the well is full. Let this become a rhythm of remembering, a tether to community and to my voice. Share this word with someone you suspect is crying in a hidden room. When you share, you become a channel of comfort, and I pour back into your house what you pour toward another. Now, one last breath. Slow in, slow out. Be still and know that I am God. I am here, I am near. I am the one who saw the smile you wore over the bruise. I am the one who counted your tears and kept them. I am the one who turns mourning into dancing and places a garland where ashes lay. Isaiah 61:3. I bless you and I keep you. I lift my face over you and give you peace. Walk from this moment with the certainty that what you hid in tears, I am transforming into healing, and I am not letting you go. Amen.